Okay, so we finished looking at an item that comes from the Reading Literary Standard 8.1, going back to idioms. Again, under Select Report, we're still under Bystander. I thought another good one to look at was how our students did on the Read Informational 8.1, where they're required to cite textual evidence. Once again, in this area, the average percent incorrect was 64.1, which is a troublesome area. It's very important. We've had several conversations about students struggling to cite evidence that support claims that are made from readings. So let's look at some of those items. I'm going to click on question 14. And so once again, we're back to the item detail. In this particular question, the question stem is, a student is writing a report about the Declaration of Independence. She found a trustworthy source. Read source one and directions that follow. Here we have source one. Source one is an academic journal article about why the United States had to break from Great Britain. Okay. And then students continue to the next part. It says the student found another source, source two. It says read source two and click on two of the facts that support the arguments from source one. So in source one, essentially, the claim that's being made is that King George was an unfair ruler to the citizens of Great Britain. So here in this particular, in source two, it says excerpts from the Declaration of Independence, suggesting the reason why some colonials would leave Great Britain and make their way to what is now known as the United States, the New World, back in the day. Okay, so here are excerpts of the Declaration of Independence. So students were to pick two facts that support the argument statement that King George was an unfair ruler. So again, so they were supposed to click on this source. So if you look at the report that's provided here, that gives you the percent that students tended to pick the different options. You'll notice that in bold and black, will tell you these are the correct answers, these two here. You can see that 53.7% of our students clicked this option. It says he has dissolved representative houses repeatedly. He has kept among us in times of peace, standing army. So this is a very easy sentence to read and to ascertain. So dissolved houses of representative and put an army when times in society were peaceful. So clear these are easy to see that doing these kind of things would be done from someone who is unfair. That was easy, so that makes sense. If you look at the other option, that would have been the correct one. The history of the present King of Great Britain is an absolute tyranny over these statements. One of the some of the conversations Mr. Tippy and I were having is just looking at the language that possibly could have tripped up the students. So here, the sentence talking about the history. So the history is an absolute tyranny. The word tyranny is a noun. And after the word the history comes the present king. So maybe students could have been confused a little bit about the present king is an absolute tyrant. You couldn't say the present king is an absolute tyranny. It doesn't sound right. So for students that don't have enough practice reading and not enough practice looking at the variations of words, this could have been an area where kids could have been a little bit tripped up by this option. Okay, so instead of picking option B like they should have, they went to this one. If you look at in red, this is representing the incorrect option. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So here, I think, again, once again, what it has in common with option C, that it's easy to read and it reads right. Not necessarily that this would be evidence that proves the claim that's made in source one. So again, this is important to know. And like we talked about in the previous question, if you look at this area at the bottom, you'll also know that our students are doing good in terms of listening to when a question is asking them to pick two items. So like in this one, two facts that support the claim. They, for the most part, did that. Okay, so that's good. So we're making strides towards being more efficient test takers in this format of SBAC. So that's good. So yeah, so going back to successes and challenges. So you would have to go back and forth through your items report, navigating between the item detail report and the bystander report. Okay, so in order for you to kind of find what are those elements in our items that could have confused our students. Okay, so we looked at some questions for reading literature. We looked at some informational items. One that I thought was also important was item 15. Item 15, once again, the percent incorrect was 67.6. This is important. The question read, what textual evidence best explains why the people of Rome may not have been alarmed when Caesar first declared himself dictator? Okay, so again, this is a loaded question, asking students to cite evidence, and particularly that explains why the people of Rome may not have been alarmed when Caesar first declared himself dictator. So in order for students to answer this one, they would have needed to read this longer piece of text. We kind of reviewed this reading, and early in the reading, it's noted that when Julius Caesar was born, the mighty city of Rome was a republic, and it explains that a republic was a form of democratic form of government. Okay, so that's established in the beginning of the reading. Towards the end, they start talking about how under Julius Caesar's rule, they start taking over more territory, and at some point, I think it's this paragraph, strengthened by his successes, Caesar declared himself dictator and all-powerful leader. At that time, dictators were temporary leaders who took power during times of crisis and they stepped down. Caesar, however, then said he would become dictator for life. That was a shocking move. Caesar began to refer to himself as an emperor as he took complete permanent control over the government. So if you go back to the question is, what textual evidence best explains why people of Rome may not have been alarmed when Caesar first declared himself dictator? Okay, so in this particular question, again, the bold is the correct answer. Most of the students looked at Caesar had just ended a battle against Pompey. And sure, I mean, if you think about, okay, so because Caesar won this battle, then it makes sense that he would declare himself dictator. But this doesn't necessarily follow. But I guess in some way that could be assumed. But if you read the detail in the text, look at option C. Rome had been ruled by temporary dictators before. So if the students picked up on that note, then they would know that the reason why they were not alarmed that Caesar first declared himself dictator is because that was a common practice. Okay, so here, just thinking about this, clearly our students need more practice in navigating longer, more complex pieces of text. So spending time teaching students about how complex texts are organized will be quite beneficial, and letting them know sometimes our documents are organized according to chronological activity. Maybe sometimes it's cause effect or compare and contrast. That would help the student navigate those longer pieces of text. So that's important. Okay, so again, you'll see that through going through these items, and you're able to pick up what were the overall challenges and successes. Okay, so again, Here, citing textual evidence is definitely an area that we need more help with, especially because students are required to make inferences. Of the two reading focuses, we noticed that the reading literature was a little bit more difficult, obviously because it involved poetry. If you notice, 89.3 average incorrect for these items, and then for the reading information was 67.3. In looking at the piece, the Julius Caesar piece, it says that the students for standard 8.10, students will read and comprehend text at the high end of the 6-8 text complexity band independently and proficiently. This is an important one. In the resources that are provided at the bottom of this document, I added the complexity band for SBAC, and for grades 6 through 8, the Lexile that students are expected to be able to perform, and the readings that are given in the exam are going to range between 955 and 1155 Lexile. So it's very important that we give our students practice in this level of rigor, the DOK that we've talked about before, making sure we give our students practice in the level of rigor that it will be assessed on the test. So that's an important note to keep in mind, that this is why we need to give our students practice in that range, and continue to work to make sure our students actually achieve and make strides towards improving their reading. Okay, and then you could just see other standards that were missed too. The reading literature 8.2, which is asking the students to identify central idea. In this assessment, particularly, our students carried an average of 61.3 incorrect. And then the 8.4, students having to determine meaning of words and phrases, is going to be an absolute critical skill. And reading complex text, again, not even, pretty close to 60% of incorrect average, which is alarming. This is an area that we definitely need to work on. So overall, we're noticing that students are lacking those reading practices strategies required to access complex texts. So these were challenges that we would arrive at from spinning back through the bystander report information and the item detail. So going back and forth, I recommend that we not print reports and just go back and forth, and really, it's going to take time. It's something that, yeah, it's just going to take time. So we'll need to get used to that. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this previously, but obviously an area that they did well was in combining sentences. So that's good to know. Okay, so some of these I kind of already talked out loud about potential causes for the challenges. So we looked at question 14. For item 1, one of the answer choices. Okay, so students were asked to select 2 pieces of evidence from the text. Okay, there was a clue, the word smile, that was in the option that related to the term that was in the question that had to do with happiness. So clearly that was easy for the student to pick. The follow-up statement that you, quote, then that you should remember and be sad. So clearly if you look at that statement, there's no clues that indicates to you anything about happiness. So not directly anyways, students would have had to infer that. So of course this statement, students did not pick this statement as evidence that supports happiness. The speaker's desire for happiness of others. So that's the argument is being made, and this is what they were supposed to pick evidence that shows that. So student was required to infer this connection. So from looking, you can go back and look at item 1. I can tell that my students need practice with this. Okay, so I already talked about item 15. So again, taking the time to go through these by standard and by item detail, then you would be able to come up with potential causes for challenges. So I'm noticing language is a very important element that has to do with students being able to comprehend a text, and then being able to navigate the language. So taking that information